Hey guys, it's Sean from Ain't Dead Games, and in today's video we're going to talk about a series of games that has completely been forgotten by time. This is a series of shmups that got its start on the MSX and went all the way up through the PS1, but were never released to the US, marking it as a series that not too many people know about. And I feel that enough time has passed by that this legendary series from Konami deserves a comeback. The series of games that I'm talking about is the PARODIUS series. I own 4 out of the 6 titles from this franchise, and today we're going to go over those games, starting with PARODIUS Da for the Famicom. Now, as you'll clearly see in the gameplay footage, PARODIUS is a parody of the Gradius series, including a mashup of many classic Konami characters and themes, and would fit under the cute-em-up genre. This game, PARODIUS Da, was released in 1990 and was an 8-bit version of the original arcade shooter, where you have a choice to play as 4 different characters: Vic Viper from Gradius, Octopus, Twin Bee, and Pentaro from Antarctic Adventure. The gameplay mimics the Gradius power bar system, but features bizarre enemies like flying penguins, dancing showgirls, and giant cat-faced battleships. And as you'll see with the tone of all these games, it's very light and fun, but don't let that fool you. These games rack up there with some of the toughest and challenging shmups of all time. There was also a Super Famicom version of that game, which obviously had some better graphics. But now, moving along, we're going to go on to the more arcade-perfect ports that were on the PlayStation 1. Gokujo PARODIUS Da Deluxe Pack for the PS1. Gokujo PARODIUS Da was actually a launch title for the PS1 and came out in 1994, later being released in Europe in 1996 under the name PARODIUS. This game is actually a compilation of 2 shooters, PARODIUS Da, which we had just previously looked at, and its sequel, Gokujo PARODIUS. Much like the previous game, these are set in wild and wacky environments, leading to unbelievable fun in gameplay. Although where they differ is that these are much more closer to the original arcade ports that were released. Those 2 games from PlayStation 1 are actually some of my favorite to play, and it was also released for the Sega Saturn for any of those fans out there. As for the next game we're going to talk about, well, there's not much difference, but it's just as fun, and that's the follow-up game titled PARODIUS Forever With Me on the PS1. PARODIUS Forever With Me was released for the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation in 1996. It also later got a port to the PSP in 2007 as part of a compilation. It's an updated port of the 1995 Super Famicom title that added simultaneously 2-player gameplay, new bosses, and additional levels. This game also upped the characters, including 16 playable characters, including Kid Dracula from the Castlevania series. With the enhanced graphics and the super challenging gameplay, this is a must-play for any shmup fan out there. That was a fun one, boys and girls, wasn't it? Now, to the last title that I own in my collection, and probably the best in the series, Sexy PARODIUS on the PS1. Sexy PARODIUS was released in 1996 for the PS1 and Saturn, and boy, is this game fan service. And this game actually has a story where the octopus creates a Heroes for Hire agency to gain riches and satisfy his desires. With branching gameplay, unlike the previous games, completing specific objectives within a time limit dictates whether or not you take route A or B. Both these paths will give you 2 different endings, a good ending and a bad ending. Path A, the good ending, which will show the octopus who is trying to run away with all the profits being punished by a giant woman. Whereas Path B, the bad ending, will show him getting away with all the money. This game is the hardest out of the series and most definitely the most visually pleasing of the series, with its PG-13 humor including bunny girls, lingerie-clad characters, and suggestive, absurd bosses. If you're going to start with any of the games in this series, I'd suggest starting with this one. Those are the games that I own in my PARODIUS collection. Now, there are 2 other titles that came out that I don't have. The first one that came out in 1988 for the MSX, titled PARODIUS, The Octopus Who Saves the Earth. The other game that I didn't feature in this video because I don't own it and have never played it is actually the final game in the series called PAROWARS. And that came out in 1997 for the PlayStation 1, and greatly differs from the whole format of the genre because it's a turn-based strategy game. What got me thinking about putting this video out is that I love mashups. We get them in comic books, we get them in movies, but we don't get them in a lot of video games. And that's why I love playing this series. And this is the first game series that popped in my head that included mashups. I really feel like Konami should bring this series back from the dead. Either make a compilation available for the Nintendo Switch or the PS5 of all the games, or create a brand new title in the series, which I would love to see. By doing this, it would open up the game franchise to a whole new market, since these games were primarily only released in Japan and Europe. The past few years have definitely seen an increase in Konami releases, and it's time for them to bring this one back too. Again, I'm Sean from Ain't Dead Games, and you can also catch me every Saturday night on the PlayStation Ain't Dead channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Time for the podcast.